Every morning, before the office came alive and before the first employees walked through the doors, one elderly man quietly arrived with his cleaning cart. Without asking for attention, he unlocked the cleaning closet, picked up his mop, and began cleaning the floors that everyone else would soon walk across. No one knew his name. To everyone around him, he was simply the janitor. People passed him every day without a second glance, never wondering who he was, where he came from, or what kind of life he had lived before wearing that blue uniform. Some employees even laughed at him, believing a man his age had achieved nothing in life. They whispered that he should have retired years ago, never realizing that success isn't always measured by the job someone does. The old man heard every joke, every careless comment, and every quiet laugh. But he never argued. He never became angry. He simply smiled, lowered his head, and continued working, believing that honest work would always be something to take pride in. Then one ordinary Monday morning, everything changed. A sleek black luxury car slowly pulled up outside the company headquarters. Within seconds, the atmosphere inside the building became completely different. The CEO is here, employees whispered as everyone rushed toward the entrance. Managers quickly adjusted their suits. Executives stood in line with confident smiles, expecting to welcome the company's young leader. No one imagined what was about to happen next. As the CEO stepped inside, executives stretched out their hands, expecting him to greet them first. Instead, he politely walked straight past every one of them without stopping. The entire office watched in confusion as he headed directly toward the old janitor. Every conversation stopped. The lobby became silent. Dozens of eyes followed him, wondering why the CEO was walking toward the oldest employee in the building. Without saying a single word, the CEO wrapped his arms around the old man and hugged him tightly. The janitor stood frozen for a moment before slowly returning the embrace. Tears filled both of their eyes. The room fell completely silent. One employee accidentally dropped his folder. Another covered her mouth in disbelief. Nobody could believe what they were seeing. Then the CEO quietly said, "Dad, everything I have today is because of you." Years earlier, this old man had made a decision that would change two lives forever. He wasn't rich. He didn't own expensive cars or a successful business. The only valuable thing he had was a small family home and an even bigger dream for his son. So he sold the only house he owned just so his son could afford a college education. He gave up comfort. He gave up security. He gave up the future he had planned for himself so his son could build a better one. He handed his son every dollar he had, keeping nothing for himself except hope. Before they said goodbye, he simply smiled and said, "Make this opportunity count." His son promised that one day he would make every sacrifice worth it. He studied harder than anyone else, worked through countless setbacks, refused to give up, and little by little, he turned that promise into reality. Years of hard work, long nights, constant rejection, and countless failures eventually turned that young graduate into a successful CEO who built a company from the ground up. Standing proudly beside the old janitor, he looked at every employee and said, "This is my father. Everything I have today, every success, and every opportunity started with his sacrifice." From that moment on, no one ignored the old janitor again. The same people who once walked past him now greeted him every morning with genuine respect, not because he was the CEO's father, but because they finally understood who he truly was. Sometimes the greatest people are the ones whose sacrifices remain unseen. The father continued doing the same simple job, not because he needed the money, but because honest work gave him purpose, dignity, and peace. His uniform never defined his worth. His character did. Remember this. Never judge someone by the clothes they wear, the car they drive, or the job they do. Some of the greatest people you'll ever meet wear the simplest uniforms and carry the greatest stories you'll never expect. Before you go, if stories that feel real, teach timeless life lessons, and leave you thinking long after they end are your kind of stories, subscribe to Life's Untold Tales. A new story is waiting to change the way you see your own. Like, comment, subscribe. What part of this story stayed with you the most? Tell us in the comments below.